Still here. Still
I cut me, I bleed out. Dedication, hard work, sacrifice, meditation. I meditate.
It's mine, I'ma stick beside it. It's my software and I'ma stick beside it. Hey y'all, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and supporting my channel. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like this video if you want to hear more about myself, my life, because ultimately we are living life in the cash lane. This channel is about fashion, fun, food, family, lifestyle, finance. Most importantly, I talk about hustle, which I'm super passionate about. My six-figure tax business has been the ultimate factor in my life for the last decade, and I found that there was not a lot of information on the internet for tax professionals trying to grow a tax business. So ultimately, that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to open a successful virtual, if that's what your heart desires, tax practice. So today, guys, get your notebooks out or whatever it is that you do when you watch my videos. We're going to discuss chapter 8. Just put this back in the ebook, and it is the chapter titled Software. Okay, as always, I got my notes in my phone, so I'm going to be looking back and forth because I don't want to miss out on anything. I'm pretty sure I've discussed software on my channel before, but one thing I noticed in some of the past videos in the comments, people always ask, like, how do you choose the right software, etc. So I'm going to discuss chapter 9 and what I wrote about software, and then I also want to just discuss what I look for if I were in your position starting a tax business in 2021, what I would look for in a professional tax software. So this is the type of video you want to stick around for. Let's get it, guys. Okay, so chapter 8, we are discussing professional tax software. Okay, so I know there's a lot of companies that are selling professional software, and absolutely you could easily go to some of the big name brands and buy your software directly from them. Okay, myself at my company, we are what's called software resellers. I'm a third-party software reseller, so I didn't develop the software. I do have input. They call me after every tax season because they value my opinion on what worked and what could be better. So I do feel that I contribute to the development of a great software. But we are a third-party seller. So that's why I'm going to talk about today, because obviously, yes, you can go purchase your software directly from one of the bigger guys, but all they're going to give you is the software and maybe technical support in the event that you have issues working the software. The difference between going direct and going through someone like myself that's a third-party reseller is you get more benefit in terms of mentorship, direct contact. You know, we kind of share things with you that helped make us successful. So I just wanted to clear the air about that before I got started talking about the software. But in the book, which is what we're focused on, in chapter 8, I talk about, first of all, choosing the right software. Okay, most of the software companies have came around in terms of making the product, you know, user-friendly, cloud-based, and I've used the same software for about 8 years now. So I'm a creature of habit, you know what I mean? And I can't really tell you a lot about how other software brands or how other software works, because I've been using the same software for so long. But one thing about our software, which is the main thing I would look for if I was, you know, searching for a software to purchase in 2021, is that it's cloud-based, okay? User-friendly, has tools inside of the software that makes my job easier, like document storage, remote signature, things like that. So when you're choosing the type of software you want to use for your business, you always want to make sure that it is going to work for however you are going to run your business. Some of you guys may want a brick and mortar. Some of you guys may want to start on the virtual side, which is what I suggest, especially as a beginner, because you always want to keep the overhead low. That way the profits are high, and then you have more money to invest in your business for future years to come, right? So, as you guys know, been in the business over a decade, and from the beginning, I don't think the software was cloud-based. I think that, came around in maybe 2014, and I could be wrong, but this is just based on my personal experience. But when you say cloud-based, that really means that all you really need is a PC and a Wi-Fi connection. In most cases, you can still use the software if it's downloaded onto your desktop, even without a Wi-Fi connection. Some software companies allow you to do that, but for the most part, you're going to need a strong Wi-Fi connection. And when I say strong, I mean strong because you want to have a good connection. Otherwise, your program will not run efficiently. Okay. Our particular software is not compatible with Mac right now. It is just compatible with a PC, but you also want to make sure that you're asking those type of questions depending on what type of computer you have, and make sure that it's going to work best in terms of like the processing system with the software that you're going to purchase. Because again, we work quickly. In tax season, you're doing one return after the other. So you don't want to be lagging with your software, having to reboot and do all those type of things, having it kick you out of the software. So you want to make sure that you're strong, your Wi-Fi connection is strong, and that the software that you are purchasing is actually compatible with your particular computer that you are using. So those are some of the questions that I would ask originally when shopping around for software. I would also make sure that it is cloud-based, okay? I would make sure that your client is able to remote sign, that you have a document storage feature. Our particular software, you can even message your clients from inside the software, okay? You can pull all types of reports for your payroll purposes, which preparer did what and how much they were paid. That way you can ultimately pay your team. And you can also pull reports like clients' birthday lists, mailing address lists, phone lists to use for your marketing piece of your business. So I would also make sure when you're shopping around for software that it is, in terms of running your business, it has the capabilities to do those type of things, because you don't have a business if you're not marketing. So it's important that you're able to pull your clients emails into one report, into one CVS file, a CSV file, and maybe uploading that into whatever system you use to send out emails or whatever. So those things are important. Also, in most cases, even if you were, say for instance, you started your business with, we'll name this software X software, and you want to change over to software Y. In most cases, the software company is actually able to pull your clients from your old software into your new software. Okay, so that's important. If you're in this business and you already have built a certain clientele, but you didn't happen to like the software you used before, and you maybe want to change to a different software, make sure your software has those type of capabilities. Okay. Another thing that I like about the software that we sell is, say for instance, and most of the time you will be doing the same clients year after year, but if they did their taxes with you last year and then you put their social into the system for this year, it's going to pull all their basic information through. So it's going to pull in their name, address, birthdays, things like that. And that's going to cut your software preparation time in almost half, because it's pretty much pulling in their pro forma from last year. So it's able to, all you have to do at this point, verify they're still living at the same address, see if they have had any new children in the past year, and then ultimately add their income documents. So those type of features are important, guys, because once you get to be high volume like myself, like my business partner, anything that's going to make your life easier, the better. Okay. Our software also supports all 50 states. So whether you live in Texas, you have a cousin that lives in Mississippi, you can still do those family members, those friends' taxes that don't live in the state that you're in. Why is that important? Because most states don't have state tax. Everyone has to pay a federal tax, but most states don't have a state tax. Texas is one of those states. But in the event that you get a client that lives out of state, they're going to have to pay state taxes. And our software helps you recognize that and add the proper forms for that particular client to get either a state tax refund or a state tax balance due, all from the same federal tax return. So that's super important. Make sure that your software is compatible to service clients no matter where they live in the United States, okay? One thing that I found really helpful this tax season with all the updates and all the things that we're changing, in our software, there's a built-in tool that we can actually communicate with our clients without having to pull out my cell phone and copy the phone number and call them. Like, you can directly text them, hey, I need your birth certificate, or hey, this is going on with the stimulus, or hey, happy birthday, or hey, it's that time of year again. Are you ready to make your appointment? Those particular tools make your job easier. Okay, so you want to make sure that your software has those type of capabilities. All right. In the event that you're new to the business, right? Although you've trained, you may be a little insecure when it comes to preparing a tax return. Our software has a particular feature where it's almost like a training wheels mode for you. It will almost ask you all the right questions to get you exactly where you need to be in the software. Now, once you get comfortable with using your tax software, you're going to be able to navigate it really quickly. But in the beginning, especially, you're already dealing with the nerves of your first client or your first few clients, and you don't want to mess anything up. Using this particular mode in the software allows you, where the software asks you all the right questions, and it kind of guides you through the tax return. It gets you from page to page based on how you're answering the questions, and it kind of guides you on what to do. Ultimately, the software is just a tool, and it's the user that kind of makes it work. But you want to make sure that your software has all the up-to-date features that you need in a time like this to be profitable. I know last year when they shut our offices down, we'd already installed the cloud-based software on everyone's computer, because some people, especially when they're starting out, they didn't have money for an office space. They were doing the taxes from their kitchen table or their client's home, or a virtual working or a co-working space. So we'd already kind of made our practice virtual. But when they closed our building down, all we did was get our laptop, go home, and continue to do those type of clients, okay? One other major thing that I appreciate about our software is the cloud-based document storage. It actually has a feature where you can add a scanner, and you can literally scan in documents. That way you can be paperless, run a paperless office. And when you're just starting out, that's important, because you may not have money to buy an expensive file cabinet, or you may not have the security in your home to keep those type of files secure. So being able to scan in those documents, store them in a cloud-based kind of feature where you can just go back and grab them, because legally you have to keep those documents for 3 years. So you want to make sure that everything that you use to prepare that client's tax return, you have record of that in a safe place. Now, the old way of doing things, and I'm still kind of old school, so I still keep paper copies, but you know, a paper bill for the year can be pretty expensive depending on how many clients you're doing. At one point, I was spending $1,500 a year just on paper and ink toner for my computer. So that cloud-based document storage is a game changer. The scanner feature is a game changer. The signature pad is a game changer, which if the client is sitting in front of you, obviously you can have them digitally sign on the signature pad. But what I love is, because most of our business is virtual, you can actually prepare the tax return. You can complete everything, and then you can send it out to your client for them to review the document for errors, make sure everything is correct, and they can virtually sign those documents. And it's such a seamless process. You know, you text it out, you send it out to the customer either through email or text. They get a link on their phone, they click it, their tax return opens, they're able to kind of scan through their 1040, scan through the documents, check for spelling errors, check and make sure the kid's birthday is correct, their birthday is correct, sign the document, and it'll automatically go back into your system as a signed tax return ready for you to transmit. So in my opinion, those type of features are important. Okay. It's also a very attractive feature when you're trying to hire people for your business, for your brand, because we had people that were in New Jersey, Atlanta, Houston, people that weren't in my local area. So literally I had, you know, they were able to download their software remotely. We were able to communicate remotely through the software, because me being the primary software, you know, provider, I was able to, they say, hey, Cassie, will you take a look at this tax return? And me being the ERO, I was able to pull up that tax return, go over it with them, check and see if, you know, whatever question they had, kind of answer their question, and ultimately get that tax return ready for transmission. So depending on what type of practice you plan on running, I would just make sure your software has all of those features that I talk about in my ebook, guys. And being virtual, being accessible to people, making this time of year as easy as possible for your customers will ultimately make you the most money, okay? You don't want to be doing things the old-fashioned way. They got to come in, and which is nothing wrong with that, because you do have a certain amount of clients that they're gonna want to come in and see you face to face. But those are the things that you want to look for, because I promise you it's going to be easier than you think to get clients to deal with you on a virtual level. Now, all software companies, obviously it's a business. Even after you buy the software from them, there are fees involved in using it based on every transmission, okay? But in most cases, software companies, they'll give you rebates, which is basically a kickback based on the amount of returns you do. Okay, so if you're high volume and you're getting a couple dollars back from every return that you've sent through, that could be a little gravy on the top at the end of the tax seasons, upwards, you know, some thousands of dollars, depending on how many tax returns you do. Now, these type of services are reserved for clients that have an EFIN, EROs. Now, if you're working for someone, you're not going to have those type of capabilities, because you're ultimately using your EFIN holders, your EROs relationships with the banks and with the software company. So they're getting those rebates. But in the event that you are an ERO, you have your EFIN, those are some of the perks of using a professional software. You know, they're going to charge you, yes, based on your transmissions, but they're also going to give you a little bit of that money back at the end of the season as a kickback. Sorry, y'all. I got thirsty. So these are just some of the things that I look for in a software company. As you guys know by now, we are third-party software resellers. I stick by my software, and I'm a creature of habit, and I believe in using something that I'm comfortable with, because I know if I can use it, if it's user-friendly for me, it's going to be the same for a beginner. And I actually had one of my partners last year, within one day, she was working that software like she'd had it for years, okay? She was my little all-star. So again, I'll use this last part of the video just to kind of explain what we do at Refund One Tax Group. We have Be Your Own Boss packages available where you can actually get the whole bundle deal and honestly start this new career path in just a few weeks. Your software, your client forms, you know, you're going to get your technical support, your resource library for training. You're going to get your software walkthrough. You're going to, you know, be able to be in our Facebook group. If you ever have questions, you know, you can kind of go to that forum and have a productive tax season, because ultimately we want the outcome to be income, right? And the easier it is to use, the better, the more confident you're gonna be when you're preparing your client's tax return. And the software, guys, it does most of the math for you. Now you have to input the right information, but the software is pretty much foolproof. I think I've had one or two issues in the past with my software in the last decade, but I don't think I've ever had a miscalculation issue or anything like that, okay? Sometimes in the beginning of the season, when all the updates are coming through, you may run into a few issues until they find a fix for that particular bug. But for the most part, haven't had any issues. And I wouldn't ever sell you anything that I would not use. So guys, that brings me to the end of chapter 8. We have one more chapter to speak about in this book, and it's the most important to me: networking and building your clientele. But if you are looking for a user-friendly tax software, hit me up. And if you have any questions about what I've spoken about in this video, whether you want to purchase with me or someone else, let me help you. Ask me the questions that you want to ask me, okay? Also, guys, when you're building a tax business, you're gonna have people that are gonna work for you. So our software is so user friendly. From your, you know, you can add in prepares. You know, it's so easy to run a business out of our software. All right, that's all I have for today. I didn't really want to go over 20 minutes. I'm a little bit over, but yeah, y'all like this little hairdo. If you watch this week's vlog, you'll see the struggles I had. But as always, thank y'all for being here, living life in the cash lane. And I want you guys to really make the decision. You're not here for no reason. If you want to get involved in this industry, the time is now. I feel like it is, you know, legally, ultimately, it's a type of business that you will have for years and years to come, okay? Thank you guys for being here again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. That way this video can be shown to more individuals that are interested in this type of a content. I love you guys. And don't forget to ask me anything in the comments regarding this chapter 8 in the Ultimate Tax Boss ebook guide. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
Look. I cut